Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello, welcome. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jackson.
Top Notch Sports. Today we're going to be going over the Seattle Seahawks free agency frenzy. We're going to break down what we think that they're going to do in free agency, the upcoming offseason, and the mock draft, and so much more. So just stay tuned. Here we go. Seattle Seahawks right now are sitting around, what, $25 million, we said?
$25 million.
Yep.
$25 million, which is actually a pretty good amount after releasing Carlos Dunlap. There's rumors that they might be bringing him back, but I got a theory that's pretty interesting right here. I don't think that it would be smart to bring him back. He had a good year, but Russell Wilson complaining about that offensive line. And with $25 million, this could repair the offensive line. I just thought about this literally like 2 seconds ago. So, Mike, I'm going to have you talk about the current state of the team. Go ahead. Let me know what you think.
All right, so way back, I think the video's on this channel. We were talking about MVP candidates. I said Russell Wilson will win the MVP if he does not continue to be hit the way he's being hit. And that he continued to be hit. This offensive line is terrible and is holding this team back. The defense had its struggles last year, but they seemed to figure it out by the end of the season. But I think that you need to address the offensive line position or you're going to lose your franchise quarterback, whether it's to injury or because he doesn't want to play. So releasing Carlos Dunlap opens up some eyes. Where are you going to go with this? There's free agents out there. There's guys like Joe Thuney, Trent Williams, Alex Mack at center. Or do you do something different? You know, you heard the Las Vegas Raiders want to trade Trent Brown. You go make a move like that and give up very little because they can't possibly ask for that much to get rid of that contract on a guy that didn't play. And also you heard another offensive lineman that may be on the move, arguably one of the best guards in this league, Brandon Brooks of the Philadelphia Eagles. So if you're the Seattle Seahawks, these are two teams that aren't going to beat you up with draft capital because everyone knows the situation they're in. The Eagles have no money, so nobody's going to overpay for Brandon Brooks. And the Raiders got a guy that's taken up a pile of money and didn't play. So I think these are two guys you can get relatively cheap that can immediately make a huge impact on this offensive line.
Absolutely. That's a good point. Jackson, go ahead.
Yeah, so I look at this team, like you said, Mike, when you got your Hall of Fame quarterback coming into the meeting room and saying, I want an offensive line, you got to go get the guy an offensive line. I like what you said about Trent Brown and Brandon Brooks. You can get those guys probably pretty cheap. Joe Thuney's out there from New England. Gabe Jackson just got cut from the Raiders not too long ago. It's another guy they bring in at right guard possibly. Look, there's names out there. It's just whether this team wants to go make the moves. And like I said, when you got your Hall of Fame quarterback saying, I want an offensive line, and then he's giving you names he wants or teams he wants to get traded to, I mean, you gotta give him an offensive line. They got a pretty damn solid offense. You got Wilson, get an offensive line for him. DK Metcalf was one of the best receivers this past season. Tyler Lockett's always good. David Moore, he's not under contract, but you can bring him back pretty cheap. And another name out there in free agency for this team that they're losing is Chris Carson. When Chris Carson was drafted, he was a 7th-round draft pick. Exceeded all expectations. You definitely got to bring that guy back. Look at the defense. Like you said, Mike, they got better towards the end of the season. You got Bobby Wagner on that team. You got Jordan Brooks, who they picked up in the first round last season. I didn't like the pick at first, but I think he's going to get better and better and have a pretty solid second season. Hopefully that's what the Seattle team needs. They gave up 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams. I really don't agree with that move. Giving up 2 first-rounders for Jamal Adams. I mean, Jamal Adams is probably worth 2 first-rounders, but for the state of that team, they needed those 2 first-round picks. You got Quandre Diggs. Probably need another cornerback possibly. They got the money. It's just how they spend it. I think they need to spend it on an offensive line.
I agree with you.
Absolutely. No, I agree with you guys. Here's what I'm going to say real fast. One guy that you guys mentioned is Chris Carson. He's going to take up about $7.4 million in cap space. Now, that being said, that would still leave them with about, 7.5 minus about 18-ish million dollars. Trent Brown would be $14 million. I'm not sure how much Brandon Brooks' contract is right now. Another guy I want to talk about that they could probably get for really cheap from the Las Vegas Raiders is they released 3/5 of their offensive line. Real cheap, Richie Incognito. There's rumors that he want to come back on a cheap deal. Right now for the Raiders, he was about $5-6 million. I think this guy's willing to play for like $4 million. And this guy's a Pro Bowl guard when he's healthy. So Richie Incognito could be another guy, Richie the Bitchy Incognito. I'm a big fan of this guy. He is a stud, man. He honestly is. Now, if you don't want to go with Richie Incognito, Jackson and Mike both mentioned a whole bunch of guys that you guys to go with. Again, Chris Carson, 7.4. That leaves you about $18 million. You could potentially bring back with the money that you freed up with Carlos Dunlap, maybe Shaquille Griffin if you wanted to do that. Or you attack the offensive line. I think you got to get the offensive line considering what Russell Wilson has said.
You're going to need a corner. This team's going to need to address the cornerback position, whether it's in the draft or in free agency. But I think you got to boost that offensive line with veterans.
I agree. What do you think, Jack?
It was a better football team. Speaking of Chris Carson, when Chris Carson was on the field, this is when this team was good. When Chris Carson got hurt, the offense honestly kind of took a step backwards. So they need to bring Chris Carson back as well.
Absolutely. Chris Carson's a playmaker, right, Jackson?
Yeah, so like Shaquille, like we said, we threw out a bunch of names for this team to possibly go out and get in the offensive line. They definitely don't need to bring in every single one. Maybe it'd be nice to get two of those guys. It'd be nice to just get one of those guys. So maybe you go out and just get maybe two of those guys. Like Nick said, Rich Incognito's not going to want a lot. So it's like $4 million. So we got $21 million. You go out and get a guy like Brandon Brooks, like Mike said, probably not going to be that expensive either. So you probably got around like maybe $13 million after you get those guys. And then you could still go and get Shaquille Griffin because we expected him to be about a $10 million cap shift. So you have $13 million. You're still bringing Shaquille Griffin. That'd be a great offseason for this team. You bulk up that offensive line, satisfy Russell Wilson's needs. You bring back Shaquille Griffin, who's been a Pro Bowl corner for you guys the last couple of years. And it's a successful offseason for this team right there.
I agree. One thing that concerns me about this defense right now with losing Carlos Dunlap, if they don't bring him back, is their defensive line is really concerning. I mean, they don't have – I mean, they got Jerron Reed. Besides that, they would have to attack defensive line in this upcoming draft. Again, they don't have a first-round pick due to Jamal Adams, so they would have to attack that position really, really strongly. If they want to go all offensive line this free agency, maybe they go and bring back, like we said, Chris Carson. Then you got to attack defensive line in the draft completely to build up this defensive pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, this team can address all their offensive needs in free agency and then just do what Carolina did last year. Go all defense. Go address your defensive needs in the draft.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you, man.
One guy you do not want to be angry on this team is Russell Wilson. I mean, this is a guy that's been the heart and soul of this team.
Whole career hasn't said anything. It's concerning when he's coming out and saying something.
Absolutely. And I don't think
100%.
I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but we'll see what happens. Guys, that's all from us from Top Notch Sports. We'll see you guys soon. Peace. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jackson.
Top Notch Sports. We'll see you guys soon. We got our scouting analysis, mock drafts, and our live draft shows coming up soon, so be sure to stick around for that. See you guys soon. Peace. We are.
Feel better.
See you guys soon. Peace.